Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PyroFalkon's Let's Play Extravaganza, where it's your Let's Play too. This is episode 3 of PyroFalkon Plays Evil Genius. I love this game. Easily in my top 20, possibly my top 15 of all time. So in the last episode, we interrogated our maid, who we then later killed, but whatever, now we have the intelligence we need to produce more valets. And valets are the secret to keeping your base from having too many people attack it. But we can't just learn how to be a valet without a place to learn it. So, yeah. So this is going to be a busy day as we get some things accomplished in our base. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to expand our armory, put in a security desk, and a few You know what? I'm going to actually wait and then move these over here, and then put the guns over here. So yeah, we're going to have a handgun and rifle cabinet there, so our people can be trained, or so they can be armed as necessary. We're going to place a staff room here. And as I said in the last episode, my rooms always start off really huge until I work with them a little bit, so I know exactly what size I want. That should be good. Yeah. And then you can also combine rooms. So here's our staff room, and then we can make a mess hall right next to it. Okay, mouse. Let's not act like a douche. Okay, we'll put a counter here. Let's see, actually we'll put it here. There we go, okay. That's good. And then we will make a small corridor. I'm going to leave that paused for a minute, because we also need an inner sanctum. This is our home. This is our main dude's home base, or dudette. Alexis. This is going to be her main area. So we are going to make a desk here and a conference table here. I actually won't wind up needing this room this size for long, but it's good to have one pretty soon. This table and desk are the only places where your evil genius can heal if she gets into trouble. So it's always good to have... Yeah, it's fine. So it's always good to have one that is nice and secure that your evil genius can retreat to as necessary. Alright, we're going to turn that on. We're going to turn this on. And go here and go to our training room. And this is where we need to do... We need a big training room. Always need a big training room. Okay, so only because I have so much disposable money to work with, we're going to build 6 of each training device. So we can train soldiers, scientists, and valets very quickly. Let's see, this would go here. And you can hear that our buddies are working on other things in the background there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we will demolish that. And that should... Yeah, that should be good. Okay, we'll activate that. Alright. Can give the orders to move this here, and this here. And that's the nice thing about having 36 minions to do all this. So look at this. We've been in this episode less than 5 minutes, and we already have far more activity going on right now than we did in the entire last episode, now that the game proper has started. We check our heat, and Smash's anger at us is fairly low. It's, in fact, almost a 0. And we still are harmless, which is excellent. That means I timed this right, and we shouldn't have any jerks coming after us from the forces of good. All right, so we have given our orders that we need to train up 10 valets, and any valet can train any new worker to be a valet. And that's basically how the class system works. There's a class after valet, which then has 2 branches. There's technician, which has 2 branches eventually, and then the guard class, which has 2 branches eventually. So I actually prefer not to have too many guards. Surprisingly, I learned the hard way that playing violently tends to make this game more annoying than it needs to be. And speaking of annoying, I did screw one thing up compared to how I normally do it. Usually, with all this open space here, I tend to put the staff rooms up front. That way, it gives the forces of good even more to do. But I have a different way I want to do it this time. I'm not going to use too many weird tricks because, again, I know how to exploit some of the game's features to kind of cheat my way through a win, and I don't want to do that. I play this game to have fun and experiment and just mess around and do other things. So that is what we are doing. Okay, so he's putting in the security desk, so we are also going to put in our handgun and rifle cabinets. I suppose I'll do 3 handgun cabinets. Wait, were those... Which did I pick? Handguns, right. Okay, good. And then 2 rifle cabinets. Here and here. That's good. Okay. So now, if we give the order, our guys can arm up. And the way we give the order are these 3 alert buttons down here. When you're in condition green, everybody runs around unarmed and just does their job. They don't do anything unless we flag them to... unless we flag an intruder, then they'll do whatever they need to do. If we go to yellow alert, everybody arms up, which can attract more unwanted attention, but at least our guys have guns and they can be a little bit more effective in combat. And then red alert means everybody runs around at full bloody speed and just immediately kills everybody we have not flagged to do otherwise. I call that button the cleansing button. And generally, if you ever have to activate a red alert, you're kind of doing something wrong, or at least you've made some sort of mistake. So hopefully we will not activate that button. But it's always fun to activate that button. Just, you know, the longer we wait to do it, the better. Oh, and I forgot to put a door on the inner sanctum. Even though I said in yesterday's episode I don't put doors in most of the internal rooms, I do put it in the inner sanctum. That way, basically, I have an emergency response, because since I usually leave the evil genius here and I don't always pay attention to her, sometimes someone gets through and starts attacking the evil genius. I go to red alert, I make her retreat behind the door, I take care of the problem, and we're usually good to go. And you will see all that as we go along, because I do not play this game perfectly. I will make mistakes, I promise. But I'm not making mistakes with setting up the base at the moment. Although, like I said, there is a little trick I could do to make the base a little bit more effective and insulated against enemy attacks. I just don't want to do that. I see red blips on the radar. There you go. Here's some forces of good. Okay, these guys are investigators. They're looking for anything bad that is in the base, but they haven't found anything. The blue circle indicates that they have found nothing, and that they think everything is kosher. And if they leave the island with the blue circle around them, they will actually decrease the amount of heat that your evil genius has created with that organization. So Patriot, as you see here, a pathetic Patriot investigator. Patriot is the West. It's essentially North America and the UK. Wait, it's not even the UK. Never mind, it's just North America and Japan. Yeah, North America and Japan. So if these guys do find something incriminating, they will take pictures and then they will try to run. And if they run and if they get to report back to their bosses, it increases the heat. And that's why you can go on a spiral of death if you see a bunch of people who get information about your island, run off, tell their bosses, you get more people who are stronger to come to your base, they'll see shit, report back to their bosses, and so on, and you can wind up trapped in a no-win situation. So you want to keep your eyes on all of these guys and make sure nothing untoward happens. And one of our tools to do that is our security desk here. And the way you use the security desk is simple, and there's a reason I made this long path. It's for this reason. We're placing one security camera here, and one security camera here, and one security camera here. There we go. Okay, so now the security cameras don't just work on their own. I mean, they are constantly scanning for threats, but just because these guys appear doesn't mean that they will get an alert and everything's going to start going insane. The cameras will only work if we flag these guys to be killed or assaulted in some other way. But right now, even though they're breaking into my doors, they're not seeing anything that they have to be suspicious about. So this is what I call giving them something to do, and this is where you can exploit the game's mechanics. See, the way it works is when an agent of good comes into your base, they start looking at the doors. They have to open doors when they come to them. So these guys are going to get too close. I can already see it now. They're going to get to the storeroom. But right now they're acting innocent. So what I'm going to do eventually, once we get the security cameras running, is if these guys make it this far to where they are standing right now, then they will be picked up by these cameras, and then we will worry about flagging them. But right now, they're just walking down this hallway, but they will try to get into this door, and as soon as they do, they're going to see the gold, and they're going to take pictures, and then we are going to have to murder their shit. It's going to happen. It's going to happen very shortly. Oh, here's the third investigator. She's from a different... Oh, she's from Smash. So if you can kill them, it doesn't change the amount of heat on you, because if you kill them, they don't report back either way. It doesn't make it worse, it doesn't make it better, which is kind of weird. I would figure if you were one of the organizations and your agents just disappeared, you would send more to figure out what was going on. But whatever. So what you can do, because the agents constantly want to go through doors, you can... Go ahead, take a picture of the gold. I know you want to. They are not taking a picture of the gold.
Object has been ordered.
That's kind of weird. They are in the control room and not taking pictures. They are in the armory and not taking pictures. What are you guys doing? I've never seen the investigators go this deep without... Okay, now they're taking pictures of the holding cells. Okay, now their lives are forfeit. So you can see the blue circles have turned red. That indicates how much heat they have seen. And they're trying to blow up our stuff. Well, that's not gonna work out for them very much. Exactly. Now everybody sees what's going on. Even if we lose a couple workers, it's not a big deal. And the base is safe, and our workers will automatically handle the bodies and take them to the freezer. Good job, everybody. Way to play. All right, so the big trick to forcing the agents of good to here, I'll actually demonstrate it. I'll just cancel the room, but just in case you're watching this for tips. Whoops, which is a statement I've said about 5,000 times in this. That is how you confuse the agents of justice. Because since they have to go through every door they see, if you set up your base to look something like this, then the agents of good can and will get lost in this little trap for hours. And agents can only stay on your base for a certain amount of time before they have to go back. So if you just have them in that little section, they can just waste their time, they can just screw around, and then they will eventually all leave. If you guys want me to demonstrate that for real, let me know in the comments and I'll build one of those traps. But I don't like playing that way. Oops. I don't like playing that way. It feels cheap. So and it's expensive. So I don't play that way. But so the way I play is a little bit more fun. It's more dangerous. It's more daring. It's more something. It's more interesting. Okay, how are we with building this shit? Oh my god, you guys are taking forever. And we have a couple tourists running around here. Now, tourists can be distracted if you have a hotel that is adequately staffed with valets, but I don't like doing that because it costs a lot of money to get one of those operational, and you can't ever get that money back. So I don't like doing it until a little bit later, because if the tourists get a little too close, we can just kill them. Tourists are essentially like agents that they're just kind of wandering around, but if they see anything that scares them, they will gain heat, and then when they leave, they'll report that to the authorities. And so you will draw more heat as a result. But as long as they just leave, which they are doing, which is good, then I don't really care what they do. They can wander into the hallway. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so let's check our story mission. Okay, our story mission, there can only be one criminal mastermind. Time to make sure that's us. We gather all the major criminal players in the world to a conference on our island to explain how things are going to be. Sounds good. But we don't know where anybody is. Now, the thing did have some hints. Crime lords, just like the evil geniuses, are impressed by shows of wealth. You need to build an inner sanctum, which we're working on, and then rumor has it that all of the Indian subcontinent is controlled by one man, Armand Krishnan. He has many nefarious plots and intrigues, mostly concerning corruption of local government officials. Track him down and encourage him to come to bend to our way of thinking. So we go to our world map, and here's the Indian subcontinent. So we need to send some agents out into the world to start gathering some intelligence for us, and that's what we're going to be doing. Now, again, there are different ways of doing this. This is my way. I'm going to send one worker to several locations, or one worker each to several locations, and we're going to set them to do plotting. Now, the nice thing is their intelligence is kind of scaled based on where you are in the game. So even if we had all the intelligence in the entire game, we would not be able to access the absolute top missions of the game yet, because we don't have enough notoriety, first of all, and we're not at the right plot point, second of all. That's fine. Because this still adds up. So in theory, if you have someone plotting on the world map for hours and hours and hours, once you hit the right notoriety level, all those missions will become available. And that's another little trick that I don't usually like doing. So I'm not really doing it. We're just putting a bunch of agents who are expendable out there right now. But we're not going to replace them. So like once these guys start dying off, that's fine. We're just going to send a lot of them. We're going to have one agent in every single region in the entire game. But once they start dying off, we will not replace them. And we will, unless we have to, in order to find some of those missions. So we've got, what, 17 guys? 19 guys. We have 19 guys leaving, which is going to bring us down to 16 workers, and 9 of those workers are going to be valets. So we're going to have 7 workers left. That's actually really good balance. That's a very good balance. So we'll have 7 workers here, we'll have 19 abroad, and we'll have our valet training 10 other workers to become more valets. Perfect. This is actually working out really well. I enjoy this game because of that number crunching kind of thing. Task complete! We've got our inner sanctum built. So the dots on the door indicate the security level. We can right-click this, and we're going to say 4 dots. And as 4 dots, the only people who can enter the room are us, the evil genius, or henchmen that we specifically order to go in. So I'm going to tell him to get out, and now he or possibly another worker will actually guard the door. And they're going to hang out there and immediately start murdering anyone who tries to get in who is not us. So that's a good security measure as an inner sanctum. If we need to retreat, it's the only door that I change generally from its default security value of 2. So that is how I keep control of the base, and it gives me a little safe room, or panic room, if you will, to retreat if our evil genius starts getting her butt shot up. We see we have a valet here. This guy's probably our new student. Yep, he has a little graduation cap as his icon. He's going to plant ass right here. on the desk, and he is going to be taught. And this takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. And it's training up new classes is kind of exponential, because once we get this dude trained up to be a valet, now we'll have 2 valets who will train 2 more. Then we have 4, and all 4 valets can train 4 more. Then we'll have 8, and then we can train 6 valets because I have 6 desks, and then we'll have plenty of valets running around here to do the job. Valets are designed to do some psychological warfare and help enemy agents leave our area. And we will be seeing more of that in tomorrow's episode as we get everybody organized, and it looks like we have some more friends coming in. We're gonna keep our eye on these guys. We'll see you tomorrow for another one as we continue questing as an evil genius to take over the world. I gotta work on that laugh.